Hi, this is Mahesh Bhatt and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
So the fact is, you definitely Srijat Mukherjee is a fantastic writer-director. But at the same time, for a producer to just back something like this, back a film like this, Bengali, it's far more, many would say that in a way evolved society, and they have their entire attitude towards art maybe is slightly much more evolved than what it is for the rest of the country in a way. Because you're having a contentious topic once again of India-Pakistan, and you've at times been blamed with this entire that Pak lover bhi aapko bulaya jata hai and your Pak sympathizer aapko bulaya jata hai. People don't realize the fact that these were this was a one country and it was basically stabbed into two parts. So this entire idea is something that most of the people in today's times, they're just not willing to accept it at all. So to back a film like this in its own way, how difficult was it for you?
Well, though the film deals with that period of partition, 1947, when the Red Cliff Line was drawn, and that line tore through people's lives, homes, and overnight they were divided into two different nations. And the story of this film actually revolves around this brothel, which falls on the Red Cliff Line. And what happens to these 11 very courageous women who refuse to budge from their place. And they say, we don't care what you want to do with your Red Cliff Line. It can't pass through our place and divide us. And how they put up a formidable fight. That is essentially the story. It's not a story about partition. Yes, the frame is that the violence is unleashed on women. And whenever there is a partition or there is war, the worst hit are the women of the region where that nightmare unfolds. But this story is a very contemporary story. In fact, the film begins with contemporary Delhi, Connaught Place, and then goes into the period of 47 and then journeys back full circle. I think it kind of spotlights the burning, fierce longing that is there in the heart of every Indian woman in particular, who wants to live life on her own terms, who doesn't want to be reigned by the old patriarchal value system which has kept her on her knees for so many years. So the shaky step that the heroine of Arth, Shabana Azmi, took in 1984 has now flowered into a character of Begum Jaan and through Vidya Balan, who fearlessly articulates her right to live life on her own terms. And that is essentially what the essence of Begum Jaan is. Through the narrative of Begum Jaan, you will make the women in particular touch that point in them which they will perhaps never go to. And that's what makes this film very unique. And yes, it was, I would say, brave of us to take a complete kind of a break from the kind of cinema which has made us very successful and make this kind of cinema. But I would say that cinema is passé. This cinema is here to stay, because today it's a people's film, because we have a very strong explosive climax where there are guns being fired and how the women fight for their space. Through the idiom which is popular, we say something which is very relevant and in fact ageless. So I think that while it may seem to you as an alternate film, it's actually pandering to the mainstream taste without stooping down.
Definitely it does. It definitely has a good stand at the box office. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But the way it grips you, it's something from, I think I've seen around 10-12 minutes of it. So, and we are seeing a lot of cinema which is earlier considered alternative, but today it's become mainstream.
Mainstream.
So, definitely
exactly.
It has
the audience has evolved. They have changed. They want something. They want to be entertained. They want to be kept hooked to the screen, but they want something which is meaningful. Or they want a perspective which they have never been exposed to. And Begum Jaan gives you an emotional and an intellectual perspective to their own lives.